Go ahead, Fowler. Either one. Mm, right. Okay, now I'm a bad person because I'm terrible with names. Deborah and you said C R E. Hopefully, the one who does the bulletin editor. Got that, Carol? She keeps me straight. I'm an accountant, by the way, retired accountant, so I deal with numbers. If it ain't a number, I'm lost with letters. Joe, I was looking for. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Okay. Mm, recovering well, Tim? The- Yeah. I do not know. I was going to ask that too. I saw the tent up there. I, Graham, do you know? Oh, okay. Fair. Annette Pruitt? Oh, okay. Go ahead, Sherry. Okay. All right. But she's, I mean, okay, except for just some sore, very sore. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, God. You're right. Stuff can be replaced. Lives can. Any other requests? Have? The associate pastor, I was gonna give an update after, if everybody's finished, with requests, yeah. I got a text from him today, I've been in contact with him. He's being released as we speak from the hospital. In fact, he should be already released. Todd Boyd went to go pick him up. Please appreciate Todd doing that and bringing him home. And I don't know where they're at in the status. Have you heard from Todd lately? Okay. Yeah, they have to put him in a wheelchair and take him out. You can't just walk out, you know. They don't like that. So, but anyway, he's doing better. He was really upbeat. I don't know if you know the situation. He had an event this past Sunday, kind of like he had the previous Sunday, and this time it was a little bit worse, and so they ended up having to Wake Med North over at Durant Road, and they ran a bunch of tests, could not figure it out, so we got to ship you to the Big Wave over New Bern Avenue. So there he spent a couple of days there as they ran a lot more tests on him. Did an MRI this morning. Everything came back okay, so no surgery is needed. But they still think, they're trying to figure out what caused it. There's obviously something caused it. They're not sure if it's chemically related or what, either his immune system or whatever, but he needs to see a specialist next week. I wouldn't be taking that. I told him I'll be glad to take him. So tell Todd, don't have to worry. Tell him, if he calls Todd, call Eddie, okay? Because I know Todd's done twice road trip. Even though I told him I'd come and pick him, but he knew I was having to leave tonight, so that he didn't bother me. Sorry, Todd. But yeah, thank you. Keep him in his prayers. I mean, he's got a big. Yeah, I could tell he's very upbeat on this thing. So he said, if I get back in time, I'll try to stop in at the end. So don't overdo it. Go home, take care. So, but yeah, let's continue. I don't know, Carol. We can ask him. He's kind of personal about his medical thing, so I don't know if he will. But we'll reach out. Yeah, he's funny about it. I mean, I'm the same way. I mean, some people like to keep things that private. Take me off, yeah. There was the yin and yang back and forth, and I was like, I don't know. I don't deal with the bulletin, thank goodness. I've turned it over to you, Carol. So, yeah, let's do remember him even if he's not on the prayer list. Yeah. And also, just while we're speaking of prayer requests, please be in prayer for me and the rest of the diocese. We're in, like I say, uncharted territory. We have no clue what we're doing, as you can tell. But please, we'll get through this. But we all have to stay together and just be patient. It's going to be different initially, but we will get through it. God has a plan. I truly believe it. Now, hoping everybody here will believe it. We are sitting at a crossroads. We can go one or two directions. Can't stay on the fence. Got to go one or two directions. Lead and trust God, go all one way. So we've got to all, as a congregation, same page and be supportive of each other. We're going to fail sometimes, but hey, other people pick you up. Okay, that's what we do as brothers and sisters of Christ. So, like I say, we'll get through this. I'm sure. I know Annette was the last one that was on the pastor search committee. So the search committee is doing an excellent job. I know you think they're slow and back. Hey, listen, they've got a thankless, and not a single one of them have ever been on one of these. So just keep that in mind. We're newbies to this, all of us. So let's give them the benefit of the doubt. They're working through the process. We get there. I know everybody wants to get there quicker. I'm the same way. We're a fast society, right? That's why we got fast food joints on every corner, right? I don't even have to get out of my car. I can just drive up and get it, right? And keep on walking. So that's the way it is, though. Now we got to slow down our pace, do a thorough job, make sure we do it right. Please continue to remember us and the pastor search committee and each other. I mean, y'all in it with it. I mean, y'all have a stake as well. We read. Well, it's a month for every. It's a month for every year of service. So you're talking over a year and a half almost to find something. Yeah. a couple of years ago. So I'm sure that's even higher now. Wasn't planned out. Yeah, we couldn't do succession planning. There's an article on that I was reading about pastor succession planning. He didn't get that. We didn't get that luxury. I mean, when I retired for 30 young years as a CPA, we did succession planning my last 3 years. So I trained someone coming in fresh out of college, and knowing after I saw it after about a year of that, I said, "You don't need me around." No, we need you to go through the whole cycle with him. I said, "He can run rings around me." Okay? So it's the same way. Kind of like Brian, He can run rings around on his phone. He was just flying on that phone. I was like, okay, you sold me. Calm down. Go for it. We'll take anybody that's willing to help. Okay, so I'll cut it short because I said it was going to be a short session. I'm keep on rambling, so cut me off here. The last thing we want to go through is any praise reports. Praise reports that we share. Yeah, exactly. It's good. Yeah. Okay. Are there any other thing we need to share? Oh, great. Megan, because I'm bad with Michaela and Megan. They're college. They finished it. Yeah. Yeah. They're back home at least. So mama, yeah, their family's happy for that. Right. All right. If there's no other, Steve Pace, would you lead us in a prayer? For prayer? Thank you, Steve. Steve, if you want to, you can you show the slides I have thing if you want to on the iMac? They're in the order on the iMac, yeah. If you want to. To be honest, you may not can see them because they're kind of small. I had to wing it because I don't know how to do the stage. I got no instructions on that, so I'm having to wing that. But this is going to be a different Bible study. It's not a traditional. We're not taking one yet, but we're working on it. Yeah, and you go into the next slide. Oh, I don't have, yeah, turn that one on so I can see where I'm at. Otherwise, we'll run into Kim's time. Got 15 minutes. Well, no, like I said, we'll get back to regular Bible studies like we normally would do, I will try to do. And we as a diocese need to kind of gather. Hopefully we can share the load. Or get some of you guys to help volunteer and teach. Great as well. That one not working, Steve? Okay. Well, that's okay. Don't worry. Go ahead and you can go past this slide then. That's basically a transitional slide. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. As you see on your handouts, you'll have a copy of it. See, there are storms in the background, and we probably feel like we're in the storm. It's coming our way. I don't know if you had the storm the other night. It came through pretty hard at our house. We got hail pretty good. So the first slide here is the title called Pastor Transition. What's next? That's what you're asking for, right? Go to the next slide. We got 4 things. I know you can't see it's a bad slide, but look at your handout. Got 4 quick bullet points I want to go through. First one being we have to welcome the change. That's where we're at now. We're in that transitional period. Second one, now is the time for us to take action. Third one is encouraging truths we can get from the Bible that will help us through this time. And then I'll close with some closing thoughts and any feedback you guys want to share as well. So it's going to be a quick one, but there will to be Bible to support what we're doing, okay? And you can take notes with it. I was hoping that I put some notes, but the Google Slides didn't print them. They're in my slides, but you can't see them. So I'll go slowly, but if you want the actual notes I have with the slides, just let me know and I'll send it to you. I'll get it out somehow. I don't know. Like I say, I'm learning this stuff as well. So if you go ahead, Steve, to the next slide. That's going to talk that heading so you can well, like a control, see where you're at. Yeah, go to the next one. Yeah, just a thing, okay? So before we get started with the Bible verse, I just want to talk about, this is from Steve Petroli, who was a transitional pastor. This little section, I gained some of his knowledge from it, so I want to give him credit for it. And he wrote an article called God is Present During Transitions. If we look at here, Isaiah 41:10, it says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I am God. I'm your God." So, by a show of hands, my question to you, what I've highlighted, fear not, be not dismayed. In other words, don't be afraid. I'm there for you. Strengthen you, help you. He will uphold you. God will do all that if we let him. And so that's the key part. We will let him. So by a show of hands, just briefly, you don't have to if you don't want to. How many church members are experiencing any of the following symptoms? Are you sad? Are you angry? Okay, let's be honest. Are we angry? Okay, good. Are you nervous? How about intrigued? Good. So everybody's got almost all the tracks that he says is common among people. And it's common to be angry. I mean, you look through the Bible, you see David was, sometimes he would languish pray to God. Okay? God doesn't want people to just be uppity. He wants you to be yourself. He knows you better than we do. We try to hide it sometimes, our feelings, but don't do that. God wants to know you on a personal, deep level. So be honest with God, because he knows you, whether or not you want to admit it. So those are great answers. And we all have that answers. But like I said, together we'll get through it. How about these questions? Are you asking, what will the future hold for us here at Bethel? How will things be different? Believe me, they're going to get different. Okay? Like I say, this is going to be a change. We don't know who we're going to get. We've had Pastor Steve and Miss Pat for 17 years. Okay, it's like a death in the family loss. How do we get through it? You got to lean on those memories, but go forward. No, you have to go forward. Life goes on. Okay? That's just the way it is. God has told us that, but Jesus told us he'll be with us. Now, we have to embrace that and believe that. Okay? This scripture here, if you go to the next slide, Matthew 28:20, that says, "Then teach these new disciples to obey all the commands I've given you. Be sure of this, that I am with you always to the end of the world." Of course, that's Jesus telling the Great Commission, right? What did he say to do? Teach what? new disciples. We're supposed to go out and get new believers. That's our mission in life. Are we doing that? That's one of our top priorities we got to do. And hopefully we'll get down to that path, because that's the only way we're going to grow individually and grow spiritually, is to get involved and meet people and be willing to share the gospel. And that's going to be a key part. Next slide. Hebrews 13:5. Y'all know this, I'm sure. Keep your lives free from the love of money. Become content with whatever you have. Because God has said, never will I leave you, nor I forsake. I kind of like the word abandon. I said, no, I won't abandon you. Okay? We got to believe that. Okay? There's more to life than acquiring things, getting, toys. You're going to leave all that. My dad always says, he's been to a lot of funerals, and he's been seeing a lot of hearse go to the graveside. He ain't seen one U-Haul truck behind him. You ain't taking nothing with you. My dad's back here. He didn't take nothing with him, believe me, except for the clothes we put on. That's it. But they're going to disintegrate. Everything will go away. So just keep that in mind. I mean, there's more to life. What can't be taken away is the memories. And gosh, I have lots of precious memories of both my dad and mom, and I'm sure you guys do too, with lost parents, especially ones that lost them this year. I mean, it's very poignant, especially that first year is very hard. But it never gets easy. But God's help you get through it. He's there with you. He understands the pain. Nobody understands better than God. Jesus died for all of us. His own son he gave up. So let's just keep that in mind. We have a mourning now, and it's okay to mourn. We're going to get through this. Okay, next slide. Now is the time to keep singing faster. Go ahead, Steve. And this, can't read it very well in there, but these are practical reminders of how to handle the transition. Just realize that this transitional period is temporary. It's going to seem like forever. And it may be, like Carol said, it could be a year and a half. It could be 2 years. What's that to God? A mere second. Maybe not in a second, probably a tenth of a second, right? What's that to what we're going to have when we leave this earth? We're going to have eternity. That goes on forever. Can you even imagine that? I mean, so don't worry about it. I know we're impatient. As people, as humans, we want things now. I don't want to wait. Kids, Christmas, I want to get my presents now. It'll wait. No, we want it now. That's the way we're geared. We got to just be patient and realize it's only temporary. We'll get through it. This transition will allow us to grow, if we allow it. Now, that's the question. Will we allow us to grow with this transition? We've got to be willing to that. Next thing I want to talk about real quickly is I want to read something that I'll just read this directly, Steve, so it's not a slide for it. It's an article that Chris Hendrick did. He's also a pastor called Times of Transition. And he says that there are spaces between these transitions where our faith is tested and fears fight to creep in. They are temporary, no man's land that we have to walk through in order to grow. As we walk through them, it's hard to see what's coming next. We tend to place our attention and focus on the transition rather on where we're being transitioned to. We have a tendency to question God's providence in situations during these times. Let's don't fall in that trap. Okay? Let's look beyond the transition to where we're going to go to. Where is God leading us? So let's be in prayerful support, like I said, of each other, committee, but whoever God is calling us, let's be beyond for that and be willing to accept whatever the changes that are going to occur. A good example, one of the first lessons I've learned as a parent was transitioning kids. They hate being transitioned, much as adults. I learned that if we're going to make changes in activities in a few minutes, I'd have to give them time to finish the current activity they're on and tell them what we're going to be doing. Okay, and I'm sure that all parents have had that same situation. So they're prepared for it. The same concept applies to us adults as well. If you've had a job or in a job now, you think back to how you interacted with your other adults. For example, Graham, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but when handling a potential property transaction between buyers and sellers, you communicate to them the process flow. Let them know where they're at in the process, how it's going to work out. In fact, you may even relay the reason behind the process flow. So there's no, I'm not guessing where I'm going. Communicate to them. Tell them, this is the process we're going to go through. It's going to take time, but we'll walk you through it, and Graham will be there to walk you through it. So that's the same way you deal with adults. So let's just remember that that's going to happen to us. We've got to just make sure. The last thing I want to leave on his comment was, imagine if Peter, and this is from his direct quote, and the others had stayed locked up in their house and never went to the upper room. Keep going to the next slide. I'm sorry. That's fine. That slide didn't come up. That's okay. Yeah, I guess we missed the other slides. That's fine. There was out of the 500 people that Jesus told to go on the commission and go out and spread the word after he rose, only 120, about one out of four, made the transition, actually went. So he told over 500 people after he rose from the dead, before he went back to heaven, go and make disciples. Only 120 went. Okay? What if Peter had stayed locked in his room and scared to go out, and those other 119? Where would we be today? We wouldn't have a religion. Okay, so you got to think of it in that terms. They were willing to embrace the change. At first, they were scared, like we are, locked themselves away, but then they said, no, we got to get out and what Jesus told us to do. So let's do that as well. The last thing I want to end up with is there's 6 truths to encouraging pastoral. I guess the slides didn't come over. I guess you don't see them. There's 6 truths that I want to leave with you real quickly. That's done by Ben Simmons, a pastor at Eastwood Baptist Church in Bowling Greens, Kentucky. Those 6 biblical truths that we can hang our hats on is God will be with our church during this time. God has promised that through Hebrews 13:5, as we mentioned earlier. So just keep that in mind. Second principle we can keep is God is in control. Okay? As much as we want to take control, God really is in control. We just sometimes don't allow him to take control. We want to go our own way. But God is overall in control, and everything he does will work according to his will at his time. That's Ephesians 1:11. So believe that. Trust that. This pastor transition is going to not happen outside the will of God. God doesn't will it to be this person. He won't bring it there. So we got to trust that is going to be the case. Who is in control? God is in control, and that's the big question. Will you rest in him? God plans out all this transition. It may not feel good right now, but God has promised that he works all things together for the good of his people. Romans 8:28. That includes all things. Therefore, you can rest assured that good will come from it. That's how awesome our God is. Even those things that don't feel good, God can use them for good. It may not be the good you have in mind, but it is good. Therefore, let's continue to walk in that faith. The 4th principle we can go out, it's okay to weep. Okay? It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to mourn, be angry. It's okay. That's part of the healing process. That's the part of the change process. If you don't, you're going to bottle it up, and then it's going to eventually explode. It has to get out. So it's okay to do that. I believe that the Ephesians do that. God would be with them as well, where he's in control, and it was going to bring good out of that transition they had there. So nevertheless, they will, and it's okay to keep doing it. That's it. 5th principle is the ministry must go on. Okay, we know we've lost pastors, Pat here, and no longer a pastor, but we have to go on, and that's what the preacher said last week. His time is over. My time to move on. So, and this happens to all. You think about your life. You can't work forever. And you want to. Sometimes you want to. Sometimes you get this little letter on your desk. You take a package or something. If you're lucky. Sometimes you get the pink envelope. We don't give you a package. So just think about that. just keep a positive attitude that we can get this thing done and get through it. Closing thoughts I have here is let us trust God that he will use this transition to increase our dependence on him, to deepen the way we pray to him, and to help us to identify new opportunities God is calling us to pursue. Brothers and sisters, don't give up. There's going to be a lightning. God's not going to leave us alone. He's going to be with us. So let's just hang on to that. Hang on to that truth. God is there. And he will lead us through it. Hold strong to the faith and trust. The only question I have for you is, please, hold tight. Hold on strong. It's our choice. The ball's in our court. That's all I have right now, so if you would, let's close with a word of prayer. As we pray, let us thank God for his faithfulness. Ask him to strengthen our faith, especially during this transition. Let us pray. Everlasting, loving Father, remind us of your sustaining presence as we venture into this period of finding a new pastor here at Bethel. A variety of feelings rise up within us. Walk with us, Lord, in this new season in our congregational life. We confess that we find change difficult, and that we often experience transition as negative. Enable us to see what lies before us as an opportunity to deepen our dependence on you and to discover your renewing and creative spirit. We thank you for Pastor Steve and Pat and pray for your continued blessings on them as they begin their next chapter of their life of retirement. We also ask you to bless our congregation and the community that we serve. May we turn our heart's attention to your guiding, leading presence in the coming days. Let us not become anxious or afraid, but rather seek your Spirit's wisdom as we celebrate what was and look forward to what is yet to be. Comfort us, dear Lord, in this season of uncertainty, and fill our hearts with hope in your peace. In your most precious holy name we pray. Thank y'all for coming and putting up with me, and hopefully I'll get better over time.
It's different on that side of the way.
Yeah, like I say, I'm a PK. I know how my dad did it, but could I do it? No way. If I was, I would have been a preacher as well. Thank y'all for showing up.